something we feel very convinced of is that people can very often falsely attribute their problems to spiritual and emotional reasons when really their problem is actually just physical health issues. It's so important to know about inner healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, but it can be tempting to ignore the dramatic role physical health plays in all of this. And I guess I'll just probably just share my testimony now about this whole topic. So I think through a lot of my life, I actually have had health problems. I think when I was younger, it was apparent just by a lot of allergy problems, sinus issues, anxiety, kind of behavior issues, nothing like crazy, but just kind of more ADD, really, really hyper, and really hard time focusing in school. But as I got older, just more fatigue and brain fog. But especially in 2018, I just was feeling horrible all the time, just extreme anxiety. I was having these like sleep paralysis attacks. It's kind of like a panic attack in your sleep, but very, very horrible experiences. And I was just feeling, I thought I was dying. Like I felt so horrible. I felt so separated from God in the midst of that suffering, a lot of issues. And as I took better care of my health, made some changes with my diet, did not totally solve things right away, but felt a dramatic improvement. And I felt way less anxiety. I felt less like hopelessness and despair and discouragement. God absolutely used that because it really forced me just to discern more. Like, even if something's a physical cause or a spiritual cause, like I can have feelings of separation from God, but not actually be separated from Him. And so, yes, God absolutely used these experiences for good. But even as I would go on through life more, there'd just be times of like still experiencing like a lot of anxiety or maybe even just like discouragement, feeling ill equipped, feeling like I don't know how to pray. Certainly, I think too is like really feeling convicted as a priest. My first couple years of priesthood, like that, I'm not loving. Like I would go to visit people in the hospital. I wouldn't feel that love and compassion. I wouldn't feel that engaged, and I was just so convinced. Like I had a lot of condemnation. Like I was just not loving. And let me be clear, to some extent, like I was not perfectly loving. Today, right now, I'm not perfectly loving, but I think just because of my low energy, I made these judgments, exaggerated judgments about myself that I'm not loving. I don't know how to pray because a lot of my prayer I would just be unable to pay attention. It was really hard for me to like engage in that deeper type of prayer versus like reciting a prayer, like that deeper work of meditation, relating things to God, listening to what He's saying to me. For a time when I learned about inner healing, I would just always say, "Oh, this is like some memory that needs to be healed, or there's some lie, or there's some there's some wound that needs to be healed. There's some spirit I need to renounce." Because some people do find physical healing when they find emotional healing, but I think I exaggerated that. And basically, through this very long journey of like really pursuing inner healing and pursuing like physical health and really experimenting a lot with a lot of supplements and diet and exercise, I feel very convinced that a lot of the discouragement, anxiety, just other negative emotions was actually largely because of physical health issues. And I even think scrupulosity, I think OCD can definitely be connected to physical anxiety. I have many things I could say about this, but I think there are people who are experiencing dryness and desolation, separation from God, other negative emotions. And I think a big part of that can actually be physical health issues, that there's having some sort of inflammation or autoimmune issues that's causing these negative things. And so at the end of the day, if someone can't totally fix their health or control their health, to have these spiritual principles of discernment of like, okay, I can physically feel anxious, I can physically feel worthless, I can feel separated from God, but that's not the truth. There is value to renouncing the lie and knowing the truth, absolutely. But in terms of like, do you not want to experience that dryness and desolation and heaviness and discouragement and burden? A lot of times the solution will be found in taking care of one's physical health. I feel like so passionate about this topic.